G'day everyone, Craig here again, and today Mates Matters gone international. Admittedly, it's just across the ditch, but today we're lucky enough to have Anthony Gordon from Nothin But Shorts joining us. And I was trying to figure out how to put into words what you do, Anthony, and I pulled this off the internet, and it just says, Sydney-based film artists that specialise in exceptional storytelling through moving image. I watched the VRAAM and I thought, nah, it's inspirational. That's in a word, what you do is inspirational. So thank you for joining us. We will talk more about what VRAAM is, but how's everything going over there, Sydney side?
Yeah, thanks for having me on this unusual Zoom. What's a Zoom cast now? I think the whole world's changed in the last 3, 4, 5 months. I mean, I guess in Australia we're way luckier than the rest of the world. I mean, New Zealand is leading the world, I guess, as they have for many years. Unfortunately, they led in rugby and cricket and the things we don't like them to lead in. But yeah, look, over here is we're pretty lucky, to be honest. You know, I mean, people might whinge and complain, but when most of my career has been spent in third world countries and other parts of the world, and man, I'd rather have what we've got here than what they've got over there right now, for sure.
For sure, definitely. So for those who haven't seen the work you've done, so just a quick, brief intro, I guess, of what you get up to when you're not stuck in your loft behind your computer.
Yeah, I mean, I've spent the best part of 25 years, I guess, traveling the road, filming adventure documentaries. Whether that's and predominantly in sport. I didn't choose sport; it chose me. From the wilds of the Himalayas through to Costa Rica, Ecuador. I mean, you name it, I've been there filming either ultra cycling, athletes, expeditions, adventure racing. Even through to the ATP tennis tours, to World Cup crickets, to World Rally, anything to do with movement in the outdoors. I guess I've been lucky enough and worked hard enough to have made a career out of it.
That's awesome. That is awesome, and I guess that gets onto your latest film that you did, and I can't remember where I saw it. Someone put me onto it, and it was just. When I saw it, I was like, wow, this is pretty special. I mean, it did come about, I guess, because of COVID. So the virtual race across America. For those of you who don't know, there is a race across America. So what is it, 4,500 kilometers of biking, crazy stuff. And then COVID hit and you decided to do a film with Rupert Guinness around doing it virtually.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy that it had the impact that it did. I mean, I've filmed the Race Across America on 3 occasions, and that goes from the west coast to the east coast of the US. So yeah, 5,000 kilometers supported racing, and Rupert had built up over the last number of years to race that, and then COVID hit, and I kind of had to switch hats from filmmaker to I call it like mental maker in a way. Because we had a large team, we had a lot of followers, a lot of supporters, and all of a sudden everything stopped. And I think VRAAM, the film, was titled Mental Miles, mainly because it was predominantly made up of blokes or guys, and a lot of them really didn't know what to do, not just in the realm of the project, but what to do in their lives, because COVID brought about, I guess, a vulnerability that people seldom speak about, especially as guys, and that's where your cause resonated with me. And so I was going for a hike, as I was doing every day. It's all we could do in lockdown, and I thought, how about we try and do this race across America virtually? And what that meant was Rupert having to stay in a garage for 12 days and cycle 20 hours a day to reach as close to 5,000 kilometers as possible, and in order to do that, it gave the team a purpose, and also because of the way it came about and the way we developed it, it gave people in 32 countries the chance to have a purpose in effectively a purposeless world, right? There was nothing going on. There was no sport. They were running reruns of 1986 World Cup rugby or something. I mean, there was nothing happening. And so I decided to try and do something that no one had done before, and for no other reason than I wanted people to have something to look forward to and something to focus on. And for the team, I think it did an exceptional job. And it also, giving the mental focus, it gave people a purpose to talk. And that's all you could really do. So that was it in a nutshell. And then, so finished about a month ago. Rupert and the rest of the world rode for 12 days. Only one person finished it, a chap, Hiro Suzuki, based in Japan.
Yep.
Kind of crazy, but it did. It achieved almost 9 million views.
Wow.
So, and hopefully 9 million of those people understood that just for mental wellness, just to start talking about it, basically.
Yeah. I love that thing about the purpose. That is key.
That's all you got. That's all you've got. Yeah. And when I think if you're facing adversity through losing a job or losing a loved one or a range of other things that can create the mental instability, those things always had a way of being substantiated and managed. But when COVID came along, what it did, I think, to a lot of people is, especially in the Western world, it removed their control, and everything was taken away from them. You know, the grand powers to be said, listen, you got to stay at home. You're not allowed out. You can't go to the pub. You can't do this. You can't do that. And all of a sudden, I think in a greater sense, people lost their ability or their masculinity or their ways to communicate, and it brought everyone down a massive notch. And so, for me, getting people to even exercise or to do something gave a purpose, and we have seen some staggering results from it. And just people talking about, I mean, our team themselves, just through the situation, they opened up about stuff that we'd never, ever, ever expected to hear.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Never expected. And we're just blown away on these Zoom chats, and people finally say, listen, I've got an issue with this, I've got an issue with that. And it just literally flowed on to other things. And it was quite systemic how a little idea turned into something so major. And it's still daunting to me how that all happened.
Oh, exactly. I mean, when you say
it's got a few more grey hairs.
I mean, 9 million visits, that's outstanding. So, I mean, that's going to be, and if you think, it's even whatever the percentage could be, the people that actually saw that and go, right, this means something. This is inspirational. Let's actually start opening up and talking. I mean, it's unbelievable to think.
Well, that's how we met.
It's done.
You know, that's how we came together, exactly. and that in itself is extraordinary, because I think people then, once they've got something to work with, it makes it easier. I mean, the whole mental miles came from some research from an associate professor, Simon Rosenbaum, from the University of New South Wales here in Sydney, and he started off as a exercise physiologist. And then over the years, did some of the most comprehensive research into exercise and its ability to reduce depression. And as a result of that, some of his research showed that if everyone in the world did 60 minutes of exercise a week, so not a day, in a week, it could reduce global depression by 17%. And that blew my head off.
That's unbelievable.
I thought,
yeah.
And that's like, just over 10 minutes, not even 10 minutes a day. And it could do so. And so my logic was, if we could get that message out through what we were doing, if people could just do some exercise. When we say exercise, they don't have to crank out a gym workout. They don't have to sit on their bike for 12 days. They don't have to do things they don't enjoy. They're just going to get active. Yeah. They're just going to get active, It makes a significant difference. So my logic was, if 9 million people saw this and only 10,000 people started to walk around the block, that's a significant improvement that our health system hasn't been able to do yet. A film bloke that went for a walk and came up with an idea you could do, so that, so there's a lesson to governments around the world and to people that you just got to do something. So that was it in a nutshell.
Wow, that's unbelievable. And I mean, ever since I started taking on Ironman, whenever that was, 10 years ago now, geez, when I'd hit rock bottom, and I saw hero of mine, John Kerwin, saying that he'd come out and said, well, just physical activity, use physical activity. I didn't have a clue about science or anything behind it. I just knew that I'd get out for a run or a bike ride or a walk, or just get out and do something. And I'd come home and it'd be great. I'd just feel awesome. I know now that it's one of my main tools, and it's something I'm passionate about, is telling people that, hey, if you are feeling a bit, I don't know, in a rut or feeling a bit meh, just go and do something.
Yeah, it doesn't take a lot. And so, I mean, Simon's research, he's gone across all areas, and it wasn't just, it was never with athletes. It was never even with fit people. It was with sedentary people who were coming back from rehab. And so I thought I'd try and push that a bit further. And Sunto came on board with their fitness watches to allow a test group amongst the team to monitor two simple things. They monitored their resting heart rate when they got up and how they felt from 1 to 5. And then after they did any exercise, they just had to give us their elevated heart rate to show that they did exercise and how they felt. And in 100% of the cases over the 3 months, everyone felt better as a result of exercise. Now, some people just walk their dogs. Other people went for a 100K cycle. For me, I would go and do laps in the pool. Everything would work. Now, there's a lot of science they're still trying to work out as to why, but it doesn't matter. The fact is, it actually allowed people to feel better. And some of the team had significant issues, and it made a big difference. So when we put the project on, we didn't align with the charity either. We wanted everyone else to raise money for their own causes, and that was in the tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars that were raised based on people actively doing something. And the funny thing is that they were riding a bike in garages and in houses. They weren't moving. So it's the most successful cycle event that never went anywhere. People didn't move, So I think even if, some people got on a trainer for 15 minutes a day, that's all they did.
Wow.
It had a significant increase in their ability to process what was going on around them. And a lot of times with the mental health side of things, especially when you're talking to your mates, and you brought up in Australia, New Zealand as guys, you don't really talk about your issues, do you? You just deal with
it. No.
But now it's something tangible. It's like, well, let's just go for rather than meeting in a coffee shop, let's walk down there. Well, let's do something. And you've got something tangible to say, well, rather than if you're dealing with something, you can deal with it better. Even if people don't want to talk about the fact they've got an issue, there's a way to do something which allows them to then quantify, well, I've got some stresses here, but I'm dealing with it better because I feel good.
Yeah.
And so we're kind of put in a placebo effect that you can feel better without having to talk about it, but just exercise with your mates instead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's my take out of this whole thing. It's if you're active and you're doing things and you still don't want to talk about it, because there's some people that will never talk about it. Some guys
100%.
And you can't make that happen. It's part of Simon's research. He showed that years ago in Australia, we had the whole Life Be In It campaign that says, well, if you exercise, you won't die of cancer or you won't have a heart attack. And he found through his research that if you associate the negative with the positive, people just won't react. And so there's some people that won't talk about things, and look at our parents' generations. Those guys never spoke about stuff, and they never will.
Exactly.
But if you can encourage them to, look, we know there's an issue, you don't want to talk about it. Let's go for a hike or a ride or a tramp or whatever. And all of a sudden it feels better. That's the result, right?
Oh, heck yeah, definitely. And that's the thing. I mean, there is that stigma still. Unfortunately, it's that harden up, take a concrete pill side of things. But geez, if you can, I don't know, spread the word and get it out there that, hey, just as a collective, go out and do something. And obviously you don't have to talk about it, but usually when you are out and about and stuff, that's when things do seem to. It's just that unforced, natural, just chatting, I guess, at the end of the day.
It is. Like my own self-research is when I've been filming ultra events for so long that there's the 72-hour mark is my magic number, like 72. After 72 hours, there is not one human on the planet that won't open up about everything if they're competing in an ultra distance event. There is not one. It just... you're right. Exercise has a level. It has a way of breaking you down and saying, okay, like if you really if you were a therapist and you were trying to treat a bunch of guys, take them on a 72-hour ultra walk or whatever, and after 72 hours, boom, it's gonna all happen. I mean, you can't hide it. Your body just can't sustain holding it in for too long. It's just better, and that's where, I mean, when I make my films after after the 72-hour mark is when I get my best dialogue.
Where you get your,
So I don't talk shit before then. It's just, you just wait. You just wait, you know. And the same happened with Rupert. I just left it 3 days. 3 days was his hump day, and after that, it's like, boom, it just all flows like water out of a tap.
Yeah. So then what's next then? It's obviously not going to stop here. It's going to be more coming on and things like that.
Yeah, look, I mean, obviously my world's changed because we're sort of stuck in Australia for probably the next 200 years until the next ice age, I think. And we might be able to get to New Zealand. But yeah, what we're looking at doing, me and Rupert are taking, is it's strange when you finish something like this, it can be very successful, but then you're left in a bit of a quandary yourself, because success can be just as debilitating as failure. And so we've been struggling to find a way to utilise the knowledge and the information we've got to move forward. So we've developed a program called Rural Roads. So we're going to try and go to New South Wales, which is as far as we can travel in lockdown, and to get out to country towns and to basically chat to local cycle clubs. Roll up, we'll probably, it's in a COVID-safe environment, put up a little outdoor projector, show them the film, and just have a chat and say, listen, you might have gone through fires, drought. I mean, for most of rural parts of, most areas, COVID's the least of their problems, right? They're dealing with far more things in their communities. And so, look, I'm just one bloke that, from this whole project, didn't make a penny from the project. Didn't have money to start it. I just did it because I had the passion and the ideas. And if you've got your community around you and you've got everyone else around you, that's all you really need. And you can really solve anything that's in front of you, anything right now. So we're just going to take that through a series of talks. Me and Root just chatting about our careers. And if if a bloke from sort of suburban New South Wales can get 9 million viewers on a guy riding a stationary bike in a garage, I mean, man, you put that into perspective. Anything's possible, man. Anything's possible. And I'm living proof of that. So we're just trying to get the message out there to people saying, hey, look, you can achieve a lot, especially right now, because everything else has been taken away from you.
Yeah. Oh, exactly.
No distraction. Exactly. Zero distraction. Zero excuses, Zero excuses, as Lance used to say.
Yes, exactly. So, I mean, I guess is goal setting a big part of this as well then? I mean, but even before you stumbled across VRAAM, was there anything that you were like, geez, I've got these goals that I want to achieve or anything like that?
That's a really good, I've never been asked that. It's a really interesting question. I guess I've, like when you're growing up, we'll talk about high school days, people always saying, what's your 5-year plan? What's your 10-year plan? I was struggling with a 5-minute or a 10-minute plan. And so I never really had a goal. What I have found is every 3 years my brain just comes up with wanting to do something that no one's ever done. I mean, 3 years ago before this, I put the world's first Sherpa rescue team on Mount Everest and made a TV series about that, only because I was sick and tired of my Sherpa buddies dying in the mountains. So I think opportunity just pops up. And if no one's done it for some reason, I decide, well, let's try and do it. And for me, I think that sort of goal is a lot easier because you've got no competition. You can't, it's not like in athletic pursuits, you've got Strava, or you've got your personal best, or you've got your goals. You're always competing against someone. If you've done something that no one's done in the world, you're just competing with yourself.
Yeah.
So I think that is a goal, I guess, as a random sense. If you do something no one's done, like if you're in a hole and you just can't get out of it, you're just competing with yourself. So for me, I've never really set goals because I don't really understand them. That's just the way my brain works. I think I think I've set myself challenges rather than goals. Yeah. And if I knew what was happening next, it would scare me. I mean, I think part of the being in business yourself for 20 years, doing what you do, is not knowing. And I think if you ever had a script in front of you, I'd probably fuck it up, basically.
Brilliant. But I guess, I mean, that what you're saying, there's no sort of ceiling that's going to stop you. I mean, the sky's the limit sort of thing, isn't it? If you're only battling against yourself, I mean, we can do anything. We
100%.
we put our minds to it.
look, I've learned that from. I mean, one of the greatest Kiwis I've met, a guy called Mike Allsop, is the captain with Air New Zealand over there, and I first filmed him do the world's highest marathon in New Zealand, in Nepal, and and he used to talk about that as well, and we got to meet some very, very I guess impressive Kiwis over there, and I mean, Kiwis do it better than most because the main reason is that you're quite isolated. You've got a small population, small community, and you've got to do things for yourself. And when you look at the success of most of the Kiwi sporting teams, mathematically, it doesn't make sense. But it happens because you can rely on yourselves and your self-sufficiency. Even going back to the Maori cultures, you know, they had to fight off how many invasions, you know, and people always talk about Vikings, but they never talk about the Maoris. And I think if you put that into perspective, the resilience is in the blood there. You've just got to dig deep enough and find it. And I think, you know, in relation to that, yeah, there is no limit.
Oh, I think I've just lost you there.
What?
Oh, there we go. I got you back.
Yeah, I mean, if you fail, you just haven't set high enough limits, basically.
Well, that's it. And I mean, the thing is, it's not really failure. I talk about it a lot. It's not really a fail. It's a learning experience. Anyway, it's sort of like, well, okay, it didn't work this time. What can I do to make it better? And I mean, you look at the, I guess, top people in the world. They didn't get there because they first time did it.
You've got to embrace it. I mean, yeah. Throughout my career, I've in a way, I kind of love messing up. I don't call it fail or whatever. I just call it messing up because you've tried something. That's one less thing you need to get wrong next time. And you got to make that your. It's like when I was diagnosed years ago with PTSD from a career behind the camera. I'd take. You can't. It's like if you're an alcoholic, you can't put back the brain cells you've killed. Yeah. You got to look at it as your mate. And for me, it's like, well, that's kind of cool because it means that I've had a career that's been pretty full, that's damaged something in my head. And you go, that's kind of cool. So let's try and push it a bit further. I mean, what do you got to lose? You have nothing to lose, right? Exactly. You really can't. You can't lose. So, you know, failure is normally attributable to other people's opinions.
Oh, 100%, definitely. And that's the thing. I think we probably listen too much to other people's opinions on us and things like that. I mean, at the end of the day, we've only got a limited amount of time on this big rock that we're on, so we might as well make the most of it.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. So, I've lost the headphone. I'm just going to put my plan B in place. First world problems with technology, you know. There we
go. So going international for the first time. Gee.
There we go. I'm back.
There we go. Here we go.
These little things just don't last as they used to.
Oh, wow. Technology.
First world problems, mate. That's it.
So with you and Rupert, when's that all kicking off then? A year?
Like with all things, we've got to try and work out the right, I guess, business model. By that I mean working out which areas we're going to go to, who we're going to talk to. And again, with me, the idea only came to fruition a week ago. So we put this together in a week. We're speaking to various associations and people that might want us to go out and talk. Some of the sponsors that we've dealt with previously are going to sort of help us out with transport and bits and pieces. So you know, hopefully in the next 3 or 4 weeks. I think COVID's not going to vanish anytime soon. I think the world's pretty much going to be locked down till Christmas. And the way I explain it to my kids is at least Santa's going to know everyone's at home. So parents can't get away by not getting presents, right? Everyone's at home.
Exactly. That's brilliant. That's one way to look at it.
Yeah. So I think we'd like to in the next 3 or 4 weeks, but who knows? I mean, the response that we've had from VRAAM, from chaps like yourselves and other organisations that want to pursue a mental health message. I never thought in my entire life I'd be a mental health advocate. I just thought I'd struggle from the own voices in my head without having to get out there and to help other people. That's the way it works out. You know, you do the hand that's dealt with you and you run with it, you know?
Oh, 100%. And that's I look at it now, what I went through now, it's over long ago to where I am now. I just look at it, well, yeah, it was a blessing in some respects that I'm here now and I can actually start talking about it and hopefully help someone out there.
Well, that's the thing. When you speak to someone that's been through issues, they know straight away that you have. You don't have to. It's not like picking up a chick in a bar where you've got to try and convince her that you're the greatest guy on earth. When you meet someone that's been down the hole that you've been down, they know straight away.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's instant. It's not even a discussion. So you can basically get to the business end of the deal without having to go through all the shit. And I think that's what's really important with guys that are facing issues that they don't want to talk about. When you meet a bloke that's had the same dramas, instantly it's like, okay, let's get through. How do you deal with this? What do you do in this situation? It's simple. No, there's no foreplay there. It's just straight in the meat of it. And I think that's what a lot of people need to really sort of take a step back and go, okay, it's all possible. And that was the message that Rupert was putting across when he was doing the writing. It's like he had a lot of his own issues that he writes about in his books. But by doing this, it allows him to address it, and he does it step by step. And I think as long as you start talking, then you're a long way away from where you need to be then. Yeah.
Oh, that's exactly right. That the canvassing is the hardest step, but I think it's the biggest and best thing you can do is just open up.
Totally. And it's not a vulnerability either. You know.
Oh hell no. No.
Sometimes it's a matter of sharing ideas. You don't need to break down in tears in a corner for it to achieve something. A lot of the times that does achieve stuff, but a lot of times it can actually work against you. You know, and there's a lot of really cool programs now that are coming out that allow people to deal with stuff. You know, and they've just got to articulate it. It's not beyond anything. So I think a lot to be said is you don't have to talk to your family. You can talk to your mates.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You know, and a lot of times it's better because, you know, I think secrets are a lot safer with mates than they are with your family. Well, in Australia and New Zealand, they are anyway.
For sure. But it's I think it's probably, I think I'm going to be just about kicked off Zoom shortly. So is there anything you want to end with or anything like that? Is there anything any message you want to pass on? I'll at the end of the video, I'll check out the link to the...
Yeah, I might look, if anyone's got any questions, just I'm happy to answer anything, you know. I mean, because I've been there, I've done that, and if someone can benefit from it, mate, happy to chat to people. Whatever it takes, because if you chat to one person, you might be saving one person. That's all it means.
Oh, so, yeah, exactly.
So whatever it takes, then we're on the same boat, mate. Same boat.
Brilliant. Well, thanks so much for your time, and we'll catch up again soon.
Pleasure. Bye, mate.